We're past the halfway stage of the 1995 Australian Super Touring Championship as the title fight convenes on Mallala in South Australia for round number 5. First race coming up today, and we're off the back of a very dominant performance from Paul Morris at round 4 under lights at Calder, where he had a pair of poles, won race 1 and finished a close second to Brad Jones in race number 2. And Morris has continued that form into qualifying and looking to get right amongst the championship lead by the end of this event. Morris, as we said, starts from pole, nearly half a second clear of Greg Murphy in second place in the Oryx Audi 80 Quattro. Position number 3, his best performance of the season, Tony Scott in the Volvo. A great result, joined by Jeff Allen in the Ford Mondeo, an all front wheel drive row 2. Jeff Brabham, the series leader, back in 5th. He's joined by his close follower Brad Jones in position number 6. Of course, 2 points separate them at the head of the championship. Stephen Richards, the early season dominator, is out of position 7 in the Valvoline Alpha. He's joined by fellow privateer Graham Moore's Opel Vectra on row 4. We head up row 5 in position number 9. Russ Dugman, the Hyundai Elantra. We're joined by Steve Ellery in the Shellgrave BMW. Mark Adderton is out of position number 11 in the Peugeot 405. Steve Hardman joins him on the 6th row in the Hyundai. From 13, Paul Pickett in the BMW. He's joined by the BMW M3 of Justin Matthews, while Paul Morris rounds off the grid in the Faber-Castell M3. So we're set to go. Mallala, a track with a lot of history. It's got a lot of touring car history as well. Tight, twisty track. Hopefully it keeps the racing close. We're under start of orders. Let's go down to the grid. So we grid up for the start of the second half of the 1995 Australian Super Touring Series. The lights are on, revs are up, and we're away. Moore and Richards have a bit of a touch. Can we get up the inside of Graham Moore into turn 1? We can. Oh! Cut up inside. It's a bit more desperate than I hoped. To the hairpin. Okay. More sideways. We cut back ahead of him. Brad Jones has been a bit slow onto the back straight, I think. Stephen Richards gets past him in the Alpha. We will try and follow suit. Down into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. Oh, we nearly connect the back of Stephen Richards. He's out of shape. We'll try and get around him. What a first lap. Richards in the Alpha. He's got a bit more straight line speed. Can we get up the inside into the hairpin? Oh, we've tried. Round end the lap. Richards just sneaks away into turn 1. Back to second gear, round turn 2. Jones looking for a way around us. So position 7. Back to first gear. Onto the back straight. Richards was right up with one of the Diet Coke BMWs, so I think it's on the tail of Tony Scott. And the Volvos, we go down the back straight. As ever, the Hyundai lacking a bit in straight line speed. Hold Jones out. Richards again off in the dirt. Can't really take advantage of it though. This bullring style circuit in South Australia, I did think it was probably our best chance of having a decent run. Tail comes around a bit on the Hyundai. Rip Jones to the inside. Oh, the tail just slipped out. Managed to catch it. rear end of the Hyundai does float around a lot, as we found this year. Take on. In fact, Graham Moore's slipped up the inside of Jones. So the co-championship leader falling back down the order. Jeff Brabham further up the field, so he'll be making points at the moment in this race. Back to first gear for the hairpin. And our best start of the season, I think, in that race. Had to be really aggressive because I didn't want to get caught up, given the way we've been in the last few races, where we couldn't make up enough ground in the opening lap, and we sort of got boxed in down the order with no one to race. I thought if I could be really aggressive on the first lap, might be able to get in front of a few of the quicker cars and do what we did with Mark Adderton in race 2 at Calder. Hold them up. Good run around the hairpin that time. More in the Sentinel Motorsport Opel Vectra in behind us. His Privateers Cup Championship rival Stephen Richards is up ahead of us, so he'll be keen to get past us. Back to first gear, around the hairpin. I would have thought this is a track tailor-made for the Audi, but Jones only qualified 6th. Teammate Greg Murphy was on the front row. Into the back straight. This bullring style circuit, I thought it would suit us in terms of being able to muscle the Hyundai around. Second gear, the back comes around, we catch it. Very dangerous. We got Graham Moore. Couldn't quite get the run on us. Furthest up we've been since probably round 1 on the Gold Coast. Down the back straight. Moore's having a go, but behind him Brad Jones and Steve Ellery seem kind of boxed in. Stephen Richards gets away, he's going around the hairpin. We'll hold the pack up a little bit. Oh, over the grass. We'll have a go. Stephen Richards, in real life, he got the pole here in the 95 Australian Super Touring Championship. And hoping to rekindle a bit of that form. So we go back down to first gear because we're on the inside line. He would have been hoping to rekindle a bit of that form because he's slowly drifting down the point standings after a dominant opening round on the Gold Coast, but he's a fair way off Brabham and Jones now at the top of the standings. Greg Murphy's also fallen away as well in the second of the Audis. Mallala. At the time in 1995 it was the premier permanent circuit in South Australia. There was Adelaide International Raceway that had sort of fallen by the wayside due to track owner Bob Jane's deal with Vic Health of the Quit Anti-Smoking campaign that sponsored Calder, and because Bob Jane, of course, as he owned Calder and also owned Adelaide. He thought it wasn't right to run cigarette advertising at Adelaide, so Mallala sort of stepped in from 1989. It was the preeminent South Australian circuit. Of course, there was the Grand Prix at Adelaide, which put a lot of focus on South Australia. But in terms of bread and butter circuit racing, this is where it was at. It's a shame because I quite liked Adelaide. Nothing wrong with Mallala, but Adelaide was a good track. Adelaide International Raceway, as opposed to the Adelaide F1 Street Circuit, two different tracks. It's a shame they've never really revived Adelaide International Raceway ever since, because now in South Australia there's the Bend Motorsport Park, which hosts a round of the Supercars Championship. TCR World Tour, of course, doubled at that event this year. Hosted a Asian Le Mans Series round. So Moore gets up the outside, we'll cover him off. You can really park it on the corner to get around. Gonna have to complete the 8th lap, so we're about a third of the way through the race. Moore getting impatient. So we drop a wheel off. And the lap, Moore's wide. That I think will give Brad Jones a chance. They're side by side through the first two corners. Steve Ellery watching. I've got to stop watching from my rearview mirror. So Jones is ahead now. Of course, we're going to have to keep him at bay as we go down the back straight. Nearly 200 kilometres an hour. Oh! And Brad Jones gives us a hit. I almost forgot I was in a front wheel drive car. I sort of backed off, but because in a front wheel drive car you need, if you lose the rear end, you really need to hit the gas to straighten you up. Right onto the front straight, use all the curb and a bit of grass. Jones is trying hard. We're trying hard. We want to hold on to our 7th. And straight. Oh, Jones. He's got us. Get too far away from us to dive bomb him down the end of this straight. Oh, gave it a go. I don't think the braking area is deep enough at the next corner. Graham Moore. I tried. No avail. Moore gets ahead of us. Was quite effective under brakes, managed to get it done and just parked it on the inside of the corner, and probably didn't have the traction to do what Jones did. Sentinel Vectra. Back up behind us, we'll cover him off. Around the hairpin. James running away from us. Curb there, around onto the front straight. Stephen Ellery dropped back a little bit into the clutches of Mark Adderton's Peugeot. Apexes everywhere here. I'm really trying to throw it around. I feel like that's the only way to keep these guys behind me, because we just don't have the car speed. Around the hairpin. To see if lap traffic plays a part in this race, because we've got a slightly smaller grid. Only 15 starters, including us. So of course we add one car to the field. So there's only 14 started this round in 95. Which was a worrying trend, given that the series is only in its second year, and a number of one-offs. A number of one-offs in the series, like for instance, David Gross only did the one round on the Gold Coast. Ian Spurl just did Oran Park. The likes of Charlie O'Brien and Phil Ward dropped away after the second round at Oran Park, and Jeff Allen out of the race. So we bounce over the curb. A lot of ground lost there. I also feel like Graham Moore's gone missing. Ellery and Adderton lost a lot of time getting around Jeff Allen's Mondeo, but we've lost Graham Moore, so that's not great news. So we sit in 7th place. Jeff Allen, of course, has been in a few winning positions this year. Had a great win at Simmons Plains. It's like a clump of cars going down the back straight, so we're on lap 15. We may get near them by the end of the race. Holding Ellery and Adderton at bay. Ellery Ellery's been a fairly consistent campaigner in the back half of the top 10 this season, as has Atherton really. Too much grass on the way out of that corner. We've got 10 laps to go. That could have been really nasty. Unforced as well. It's allowed Ellery to get back within striking distance. Down the back straight. Brad Jones well and truly gone. Paul Pickett did this round in 95 with a broken hand. It's ironic that in race 2 at Calder in our series he had a big crash at the end of the front straight as Ellery gets really close to us. Yes, you remember from the highlights package at the end of race 2 at Calder, Ellery had Pickett rather had a big crash under lights down at the end of turn 1, and so we could say in our series as well he's suffering from a broken hand at this round. In the old 2-door BMW 318i. Very late. The gear change there. Back straight. Front straight. Oh, Ellery looked like he had a bit of a lose behind us, managed to save it. To go. Looks like Mark Atherton's dropped away as well. And the Phoenix Motorsport Peugeot. Fifth gear, which is all we get to down this part of the circuit, and back down only to second gear because this is a more open sort of hairpin. The ratios are so short around here that we hold third all the way onto the front straight. Fourth, I got a bit of a bad run, usually I'd be in fifth. Oh, and Ellery gives us a little nudge because I went a bit too deep into turn 2. Past the pits. Through the gears. Brad Jones nearly 12 seconds ahead of us. Once upon a time the track went a bit further than this. It was a bit awkward. The track went a bit further. There was still a hairpin and then there was still a long left-handed run like we're in now out of it, but It went probably another 100 or so, maybe a couple of 100 metres down. So they shortened it up when sort of the track was refurbished in the 80s. Ellery still right there. First gear, all straight. It's a long run. Of course, one thing the Hyundai lacks is torque out of the slow corners and top speed, so we've got nothing going for us. Oh, and Ellery went a bit too wide. Ellery gets underneath. Bang it through the gears up the inside, and we're back ahead. He had to give us a bit of space. And onto the front straight. Tyres are a bit second hand, I think. We may catch the lap traffic by the end of the race. Just ahead, but we're only 4.5 laps to go. First gear, roll it around, just holding him at bay. "21 laps go along quite quick. The line, 4 to go. Looks like the Faber-Castell BMW M3. It's the first one up, or actually maybe it's Paul Pickett in the BMW. 318i. The hand obviously giving him a bit of trouble. He's behind the two E30 M3s. Struggling to stop it too well there. Yeah, that is Paul Pickett. Will be the first car we lap. Second gear, just have to take our time. Getting down the front straight. Penrith mufflers on the back. Right up on the curb. Oh, Nelson almost stopped on the approach to the corner. Give him a nudge, we're through. Car number 16. First gear. Bob Holden preparing two BMW M3s. The Faber-Castell car of Paul Nelson and the car we're coming up to now, one of the Peter Dillman, John Cotter M3s, still running the Clark paint job from 1994. When we get up close to it, you'll see Bob Holden motors across the boot of the BMW. Bob Holden, a long time Toyota stalwart in Group A, and before that in Group C. He was very fond of Ford Escorts. Got on the inside, didn't get a chance to look at the boot. Ellery was quite active on our tail. What was going on there? Is that Matthews ran out of brakes or something? But he's cleaned us up, both of us up. So we haven't lost a spot yet, but Ellery's still right behind us. Round onto the front straight. Right there, so we start the final lap. That's soft. That's very soft from us. I don't know. Up the inside. We're into him. I don't think that was enough. That was pretty unfair, actually, that dive. But I've got to do it. We're in the grass. Sorry, Steve. Well, I had to do it. Didn't I? You guys can be the judge of that. That surely inherits a fine of some sort. Perhaps. We're heading onto the front straight, so we're going to finish 7th. So there's someone else has dropped out in that time. We crossed the line. So position 7. Quite an entertaining race, especially at the end. One of our better finishes for the season. So let's go now, check the results. Race 1, round 5 from Mallala. A really tough race for us. We had pressure on us the whole way. We got to be desperate at the end, unfortunately, but hopefully it was exciting viewing either way. But at the front, Paul Morris gets his second win in 3 races and wins from the pole just from Greg Murphy, who was less than a second behind. Nearly 20 seconds back to Jeff Brabham in 3rd. He was ahead of Brad Jones. Stephen Richards ended up 5th in the Valvoline Alpha, winning the privateer battle just ahead of Steve Ellery, who of course we diced with at the end. We ended up 7th, a lap ahead of Paul Nelson and Paul Pickett. They finished 8th and 9th. Everyone in the points because there's only 9 finishes from race number 1 here. That shows the attrition, although of course it was a smallish sort of field. So the championship points then. After race 1 here in round 5, Jeff Brabham and Paul Morris equal at the top, 118 apiece, 4 back to Brad Jones, a little bit of a gap then back to Greg Murphy, Stephen Richards in 5th, and Jeff Allen is 6th in the Ford Mondeo. Very tight at the top. Race number 2 coming up very soon from Mallala. How will the championship look heading into the last 3 rounds? We'll find out shortly. Thank you for watching.